Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, yeah. You know, say ready for this. You know I have patience.
I manage a room of teams that come in virtual Zoom. And I was given teams who recently graduated to serve as co-hosts and help me. So the job was for them to just help me, right? They just be in the room, and I facilitate the program. So that I'm grateful to God to know that what I did was I flipped it. Like there's the chat in the room you have to monitor. There's the waiting room or the breakout rooms. There's the actual programs in and of itself. And then there's the just floater supporter. So what I did was I have 3 of the teams who were assigned to my room. I delegated them to cover an area in that Zoom, and they gravitated to the responsibility like it was the greatest thing in the world. Did you not? To your point where we have young brothers and sisters, but particularly young brothers on the corner, not given anything to do, not giving any responsibility, not delegated any type of structure in which to apply whatever interest that they have. And very good point. I think that's the statement that I wanted to make. Right on point regarding that, giving these young people something to do. And final point, with regards to education, they're not equipping the students after college to start their own business. They're just basically, school is a place where you memorize stuff, but you don't comprehend it. You don't understand it. You're just memorizing it for the sake of memorization. So that when they get out of school, they don't know what to do. They're loaded with debt and they don't know what to do, or the only program that they have is to work for somebody else that lines up with what they've been programmed to remember, which half the time they don't even remember because they cheat their way through the courses anyway in the United States, right? So that's just the statement I wanted to make, Tony, to your point, which is very valid. Very good, brother. Thank you for the information, man.
And when you said you were doing that, what you did is you did 2 things. The first thing is you gave those people a responsibility or a job, something to do, and they had something that they could take ownership of, and they had something that kept them not busy, but it gave them a job, and that job is that's how we feel important. We get our value by what we do in life, and you gave them something to do. Now, the second thing that you did was you also created an option in the marketplace. And this is starting to get into stocks, for example. Like if you wanted to buy a stock, you could say, which stock do you want to buy? And then how you choose the stock will depend on a lot of other factors, but you have a choice. If you go to other stocks, if you go to, for example, the Jamaican stock market, or if you go to other stock markets, they only have a choice of about 30 stocks that you can pick. So if that stock isn't right for you, then there's just nothing you can invest in. But if you look in the U.S. stock market, there's over 4,000 stocks. So one of those are going to be at your right risk level. One of those are going to be at what you're earning, your requirements or something like that. So there's something that suits you. And that's the same thing about when you gave him a job. In the black marketplace, we don't have jobs for our youth. And so because our middle income or higher income African Americans don't give jobs to younger people, then they have to go into the white marketplace to sell their services. Because when you go to work, you sell time for money, right? But where you're selling it is your job. And if black middle class and upper class people are not giving those opportunities to our young people, they have to go to the white marketplace to sell their services. And when you go into the white marketplace, they're not going to give you the same exchange rate as they are in your own community. And so you can't expect, and the reason why a lot of black people feel like when I go to work and Becky goes to work and they don't pay us the same. And you can't expect them to pay you the same because you're in their marketplace. When I come to Japan, I don't get the same treatment as a Japanese person because I'm in Japan and I'm a foreigner. And that's the same thing. They those black people should have the option. Those young black brothers should have the option of working for it. If you don't believe that you're getting paid what you're worth, you should go work at a black company. Well, the problem is there is no black company. But if there was, then I could go work for him and he will pay me what I'm worth. And if he doesn't pay me what I'm worth, then maybe I wasn't really worth that. But right now they don't have the option. You created the option for those people. And that's the problem. We don't have those options.
Wow. And one final point to that, Cal. We should step it up. We should step it up even higher. Whereas if we go to a white company, they don't pay us our worth, and we go to a black company, and there's no black company to go to, right? Because then we should start our own company.
Yes.
And that's the problem. And you need a lot of middle, and I believe that I say anybody who's rich has more money, covers their needs, their basic necessities. I don't have to worry about where I'm gonna get food. I don't have to worry about these things. I have a roof, I have a house and stuff like that. So after that point, I'm cool. I'm cool. My family's cool. At that point, I'm rich, and so then I'm going to just start to invest into the future. I'm just going to start to accumulate assets anyway. But those assets should be in the black marketplace. If I buy a house and if I'm buying an investment property, I should buy a black investment property in a black neighborhood. So then when somebody else is coming up, then they're going to have a black landlord who's going to understand their struggle. They're not just going to kick them out when COVID gets bad and, okay, you didn't pay the rent. I knew you weren't, so I'm going to kick you out. We have those, but the people we're steady trying to move out of our neighborhoods. And as soon as we get a little bit of money, oh shoot, I'm going to the nice part of town. I'm out of here. But they shouldn't. They should say, this is who I am. No different than the Japanese people. This is who I am. I have some money that's invested into the neighborhood. When I see like you were saying, when I see those brothers sitting on the corner, they're looking. I'm like, you guys need something to do. If it's teach some kids, teach some young people, teach them do something, teach them to play basketball, teach them, just hang out with them, just be a father figure to them. Just sit here and babysit this kid, just let him hang out with you. Chances are, if that kid is sitting there, you're probably going to make better choices, and that's better in the community. But we don't look at our community as something that's distinct from the rest of the community. We're just in our area.
Yeah. Baby, yeah. You know, say ready on this. You know I have patience.